King of summer days, join in so many ways. Taking time to soak some bass. I'm feeling you. When you've been cooped up for a while, it's nice to get out sometimes. In the park, play ball, spread out. I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you, girl. Hope that you're feeling me too. Just like I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you, girl. Hope that you're feeling me too. Just like I'm feeling you. Comes after rain, like you're trying to soothe the pain. You can make fast things go away. I'm feeling you. Anytime my skies have a cloud, want something to make me proud. When my life is put up down, I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you, girl. Hope that you're feeling me too. Just like I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you, girl. Hope that you're feeling me, girl. Just like I'm feeling you. Be the power.
Direct my hips and movement. Everybody get down with me. Direct my hips and movement. Everybody get down with me. Direct my hips and movement. Everybody get down with me. Direct my hips and movement. Everybody get down with me.
For inviting us to do this little program. So, what is BARTALK usually? At each BARTALK event, we have a theme, and we invite 4 guests from different backgrounds to share their unique perspectives through a presentation under this theme. Each presentation can take any format as long as it's under 15 minutes and does not involve a PowerPoint. After each presentation, we open the floor up to the audience to ask questions, up to 3 per guest. So you can shoot a question down in the YouTube chat section down there, and we'll read them out to the guests.
Yeah. So the theme of this edition is digital kinship. The internet can be a controversial, maybe difficult place, but we're really curious about how our communities building networks with each other on these online platforms.
So today, we'll be talking to some really exciting guests. We're excited to talk with designer Yamuna Forzani, artist Danielle Brathwaite-Shirley, porn performer Jamal Phoenix, and Voguers, our very own Rae Major, and Typhoon Angels Prodigy. And in the background, we will be having beats played by DJ Seven Angels. So, without further ado, we're going to introduce our very first guest, Yamuna Forzani. Yamuna Forzani is an artist, designer, and queer activist. The outfits that she makes are created as a form of personal expression and are also inspired by the ballroom scene, which she is also a part of. Yamuna's visual language plays with the body and sexuality, and the psychedelic aesthetics of the 60s, the visual culture of social media, and kitsch. So, let's give a warm welcome to Yamuna Forzani. Studio audience.
Hello, thank you for inviting me this evening.
Nice
Got
to
my
see
cue
you.
cards.
Yeah. So, we invited you here today to talk about lesbian TikTok and why it's basically the new lesbian dating app.
Yes, so basically I'm one of these millennials that downloaded TikTok last year at the beginning of the pandemic as a joke and got hooked. And basically, for those of you who don't have TikTok, I think a lot of you think that it's just 14-year-olds dancing, but it's actually so much more than that, and it's a really cool community of creatives and lots of very queer alternative people as well.
Yeah. So you've been mostly hanging out in the queer section of TikTok. It's kind of like a burgeoning community.
Yeah, so the algorithm of TikTok is very targeted, and that's something that I really like about the app itself. And I feel like they really, depending on the kind of videos that you interact with, they really bring you to like different spaces of TikTok. And I landed on lesbian TikTok and I was hooked. And I've been there for about over almost a year now, and I'm not leaving. So I'll stick around a bit longer.
All right, cool. So can you maybe give us a breakdown of this space?
So as a kind of, I feel like I've been on this, spent many hours on lesbian TikTok. I feel like I can definitely give you a kind of a 101 rundown of how how it is over there. I'll open the door to
All
you.
right.
So I chose a few videos that I thought really represented the lesbian community of TikTok and how it's kind of, there's lots of different subgenres of, I will just show you. How about that?
Yeah. So we're going to get our first video right here.
All right. So I just press spacebar, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the first video is by a creator, and they're basically breaking down lesbian TikTok as a whole. Oh, it's playing, but it's not playing.
Are we getting this video? Okay.
Oh, it's playing? It's good?
They're straight and make them realize they're queer. We'll make them so thirsty. How's this? It's great. I don't know why, but they love that. And we'll show them that you can still like chicks, even if you like... Okay, I'll stop you right there. Thank you, that's a perfect idea. We'll show them that if they're attracted to masculinity, that doesn't exclude women. Excellent. Now who's gonna show them that it's never too late to come out? We'll show them. And we'll also show them our cute-ass relationships. Love it. Now we have to teach them about gay culture and identities. Well, we have a whole world to introduce them to. And we'll show them that there's no wrong way to look like a lesbian. All right, team. TikTok.
All right, so lesbian TikTok in a nutshell.
That is basically lesbian TikTok in a nutshell, but I think we're going to break it down for you more than that. So what I really love about the app is that it doesn't matter how many followers you have, the algorithm can actually make your videos go viral very easily. And in that sense, it's a really great way to network and meet other people. I feel like the community is very, very kind. And I'm going to show you another video now. So I'm going to swipe. So this, wait, actually, I'm going to show you. Let me just show you this video, which is basically about the networking and how they meet. So here we go.
Hey, yeah. Hey, maybe take like cherry, kiwi, real big, double 80s.
So that's a very short video, but basically the comment section of this video went completely wild because this video went completely viral. And then in here, you can see that they were like, we need to make our own signal. We need to wave the middle finger and index finger like this, and then people will know that we're lesbians. And that got a lot of, and then we need to start a club. And there was lots of talk of WhatsApp groups, which I thought was really cool and unique. I've never seen this before on social media, so
Have
I
you
thought that was
joined
very cool.
any of these WhatsApp groups or?
I will not disclose that.
And have
Right.
you seen this? Have you seen the? I mean, isn't this?
Have I not? I've not seen this, to be
is-
honest. I've
This
seen
would
a
be
lot
very
of this.
confusing, no?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's kind of like rock. Anyway,
Exact.
I like the enthusiasm. I appreciate the enthusiasm. And oh yeah, we got that one again. This is a thirst trap. I'm not going to show it. Right, here we go. Is the next one. So what I also really love about lesbian TikTok is that the app is kind of aimed for younger generations. Like, I'm an old person on TikTok, and I'm, you know, in my 20s. I'm not going to say how old, but so like there's a lot of advice to younger generation lesbians, and I will show you this. This is like a series.
Hello, girls, gays, and theys. My name is Victoria, and this is a segment I like to call Sapphic Scriptures, a segment for lesbians where I talk about how to navigate everything queer, including asking her out, self-acceptance, and more. Today's question.
So basically that was just the introduction of the video, but in general there is a big series about how to talk to girls and how to ask girls out, because in general dating women can be very intimidating, I feel.
Yeah. So about that, actually, why is TikTok the place and not any other specifically dating app?
So I feel like, as someone who's been on dating apps looking to connect with women in the past, like, you do get a lot of couples who are looking for their quote unquote unicorn or their third to join. And I also feel like, yeah, it's kind of a place that can be quite overwhelming for a lot of queer women, certain dating apps. So I feel like TikTok is a way kinder, nicer community in which to introduce yourself or like dip your toe into the queer world and meet other people who are like-minded or different creatives. I feel like it's a really great, unique place, I feel.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So just to summarize, you've got, in the TikTok lesbian world, you've got your
Thirst traps.
thirst traps.
You got the thirst traps.
You got educational videos.
Yeah, the educational videos. You've got the I wrote it down. You've got the sort of networking videos, and with the intention to meet each other and to kind of get this comment section going. You have the lot of queer history, which is very bite-sized and accessible. That's what I really love about it, and a lot of queer joy as well. Oh yeah, this is an elder video that I'm going to show, a queer elders or
This is my wife and I of 32 years. This is how we met. We met in the dorms when we were 18. She was a skateboard, like, punk rock kid from the city of Chicago, and I was rushing a sorority. We really couldn't have been more different. We were like night and day, but there was just something there, some kind of chemistry. We became best friends. Everyone thought we were together, but we were not for 2 years. She had a high school boyfriend who I thought was super cute. I also had a high school boyfriend that I followed out to Colorado. This is us during our secret romance in Boulder. I remained closeted for 2 years into our relationship.
Anyway, I think that's a very cute example. It's very wholesome. And these ones. Well, I mean, how are we
gotta
doing
wrap
for
it
time?
up soon.
We're gonna wrap it up. So basically, what else did I want to say? I think that it's a very interesting, lovely. Download TikTok. Follow me. Let's get it poppin'. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for this little breakdown. I love that it welcomes different generations. Also, for those who are not familiar with queer ages, 30 is old, 40 is old, we call them elders. But, a lot of spaces are just not friendly to different age groups like that. So it's really cool to see. It's cool to see how the infrastructure of TikTok itself welcomes this kind of community building. And so thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks. Yeah, I also really like how some of these videos I showed were like kind of more high production with the intro, and some of them were very simple, like she's just having the green screen effect and just speaking. So I think it's really interesting how these videos can also, you don't have to know how to edit videos in order to make and share your stories, for example.
That makes a lot of sense. So we are coming to the Q&A session of this portion of BARTALK. So let's take a look at our YouTube channel. Where are we? The voice volume is quite low. So, for our audience at home, if you have any questions for Yamuna, can you please type them in the YouTube chat? We'll be picking the first 3 questions. Oh, hey, Hedja. And Danny. Any questions? Any questions at all? We've got a small little audience in this gym right here. I'm wondering if any of you have any questions. Yeah. So the question was it scary to start sharing stories on TikTok for the first time?
I think definitely it was a new app to navigate, and I think that it was very fun, and I didn't know the first TikTok that I ever made got banned, and a lot of people were commenting hate comments on it, which was really funny, but that was because I was on straight TikTok, so that's a different place to be, and then it got taken down, but that was a lot of fun. I had to laugh. It got deleted because it went viral within like 5 minutes. That's the thing with the algorithm. When you first join the app, you can go viral with the first video. So it had like 5,000 views in like 10 minutes. And then all these like 9-year-old boys were like, kill yourself. And I was like, this is crazy. Maybe I should delete the app. But then I found lesbian TikTok and it felt like coming home. So that's my story.
That should be the end, right?
And that's the end. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. We got 2 more questions left. Any takers in the room or online? Little Houston Hederick kind of wants to see more TikToks. Well, that's not a question, is it?
Oh, we can show more TikToks. Right. They have more. What does it say?
It's addictive, and as I dove in my
Algorithm quickly.
my algorithm quickly pivoted me to lesbian TikTok, which perpetuated the addiction. Can you speak about the pace of your production? What's the pace of your production in TikTok? Do you make stuff a lot on TikTok?
I'm more of a lurker on TikTok, I would say. I definitely spend way too many hours on that app, especially late at night. I'm just sort of like scrolling, and then all of a sudden it's 4 a.m. But it just feels, I'm just like laughing alone a lot, which I think it gives me a lot of joy. So I don't think I can really answer that one, but I can definitely show another TikTok.
Let's do one, and then we'll go to our last question here.
Okay, so I'll show another one. Right, what's a funny one? This one, the lesbian accent challenge. Let's get into it.
We got the accent challenge, lesbian edition, part 2, starting at number 1. We got number 2. We got for number 3. We got, and finally, at number 4, we got.
Feel like we can all relate to that. Oh, sorry, not again. Bloody hell. Right, so so that's another one for you.
Yeah, thanks for that. So our very last question is, how do you access queer lesbian TikTok to avoid being attacked?
I feel like if you would just download the TikTok app, immediately type in lesbian TikTok and just like heart every single one, then that's my little tip for you. To sort of navigate past the 14-year-olds dancing and the the weird prank videos and stuff. Just get directly to queer. So don't worry, I've got the directions for you.
And there we have it.
And you can always DM me if you want more TikToks. My phone's full of them.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for Yamuna. Where can we find you on TikTok and on other social media?
Yeah, at Yamuna Forzani. That's on everything.
Oh, perfect. That's
Yeah.
easy to remember. Thanks so much for the rundown.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for the questions. So, Rae. Wait. Okay, cool. So, we're going to be waiting for our next guest.
I wonder if, Danielle is ready.
Oh, there's a ton of time. Because the 5 minutes was like, it's been 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes. Oh, I thought you said we had... Okay, so can we do it that way instead? So like it's been 5 minutes. Okay, cool. Let's just shoot the shit for a bit. Let's just shoot the shit for a bit.
Or maybe what we can do is also ask for more TikTok videos since we have more time.
Sure.
Do you want to?
Yeah. Hey, Yamuna. So we ended way earlier than we expected, and our guest is not expected to come for a while. We were just let's just watch some more videos. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm back again.
Yamuna Forzani, everyone.
Right. Who wants to watch more videos with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wait. There we go. Let's show you another one. I wanted to show... Oh, yeah, this one. This is for all my women-loving women out there who's ever been on Tinder.
420? You 420 friendly? No, actually, I don't smoke at all. You don't smoke? You like, ever? So, what are you looking for on here? Me and my boyfriend are looking for our unicorn. Oh my god, you're so pretty. Thank you so much. Hi, how are you? I'm great, how are you? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm literally the worst. So, what are you looking for on here? Here for a good time, not a long time. I'm just looking for friends. Okay, are you interested in girls at all? No, I'm straight. Hi, yeah, I think I'm bi, but like I'm not really sure. I've never really been with a girl, but I kind of want to experiment with one. But like, I'm not into like giving head or like touching you at all. I just want a girl to do it to me. That's just so gross and icky. Like, I don't want to do that. What gender do you identify with? What? I'm a guy.
That's the end. Right, we've got another one. What other one we got? Like that one showed that one. I had way more, but I deleted them all. Wait, that's one. What's this one?
Oh no, that's something else.
Oh, that's something else.
Yeah.
Here's the last one.
Watch a lesbian do the absolute most to prepare for a first date. We're literally out here repainting our walls. We're doing all of our laundry, of course, and bleaching the sheets. We are decluttering our entire apartment. I did this trip about 5 times to my local thrift store. We're making lesbian-themed crafts. So this is a boob macrame wall hanging. This is what it looks like. And then we're literally wiping down every single surface in our apartments with a smile on our face. And then when we're done that, making a vegan curry.
Yeah.
Love that one.
Can relate to that one.
We're gonna shoot the shit for a little bit, so can I just ask you more questions
Yeah,
about
you
this?
can. Yeah.
And I'm gonna take all the questions,
All
unless
the
someone.
questions.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, how much of this stuff is relatable, and what is it that keeps people coming back, and why is it that people are forming a community out of these videos, which are hilarious, but what's behind it?
I feel like dating in general is just like a disaster for most people, especially like in our early 20s, like teen years, still discovering our sexuality. So the fact that they're making light of it and giving so much, relatable content, I feel like it puts people at ease more. And I feel like I think it kind of takes away the scary factor a bit, perhaps, I guess. What do you think?
I have no idea. I'm not really on TikTok for a reason. But I was curious, has anything changed during the pandemic in terms of its effects on lesbian TikTok?
From the pandemic, I mean, I feel like the use of TikTok spiked so much during the pandemic, because I feel like a lot of people are like me who downloaded it during the pandemic because they were bored and then kind of got hooked. So I feel like now it's and because of the algorithm, and if you feel like, if we're gonna go into it, like Instagram is really rubbish in terms of algorithm, and if you're trying to create a community or build a community and try to get yourself noticed with Instagram, like you either have to pay for your sponsored posts or you really have to kind of already be a public figure. So I feel like in that sense, with TikTok, you can really be starting from nothing and then get a lot of reach. Which I think is very appealing to a lot of people.
Yeah, I've also been hearing that a lot of people have been kind of doing a lot of self-reflecting during their respective lockdowns, and a lot of people have been coming out.
Very true.
Facing their own, everything that's going on down there.
Absolutely. Down there.
Down there, yeah.
Down there. No, but yeah, for sure. I mean, like, sexuality is a spectrum, and I feel like the more we accept that, the easier things are. So I feel like, I guess, in terms of representation, if you think about lesbian representation, you have like the L word, and there's some movies, but it's not really giving what it needs to give. And I feel like with TikTok, it's really showing a lot of queer joy and a lot of different types of representation of what a lesbian looks like, or like what a queer woman looks like. And it's not only somebody who's very masculine, can also be someone who's very feminine, who's very gender fluid, gender neutral. And I think that creates a lot of space. And I think for me personally, I feel like it's changed the way that I look at myself or the way that I behave, because I feel like I am queer enough and I don't need to do anything else to become more queer or anything like that.
No, you don't.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that applies to a lot of different areas, not just sexuality, right? I mean, I've found so many things just through Instagram's my home, really. I am a little too scared to venture into TikTok, but I do appreciate it from a distance.
Yes.
And sometimes it feels like I mean, representation matters for a reason, right? If you don't see something reflected, some part of yourself reflected, then obviously you don't really know if you can go for it. It's almost like seeing so many people around you that share something, gives you the permission to
Yeah.
go for it.
I mean, like, even just for myself, I feel like I grew up with a lot of, what was it, like, inherently, like, suppressed, I suppressed my sexuality, or is it, what's the word, like the
Internal
homophobia.
There you go.
That's the word. Yeah, I feel like I grew up with a lot of that, and it was only until I moved to the Netherlands and I discovered the queer community that I really accepted myself, or really kind of opened those doors within myself again that were like kind of locked away. So I feel like that's maybe also what TikTok, or lesbian TikTok, is giving, that it's really showing different ways and different possibilities that maybe people, it's like, oh yeah, I can relate to that. Like that's something that I find very attractive, or that's something that I like with the thirst traps. I find them very cringy, but I think a lot of people, there's millions of views on the thirst traps. They do their job. The thirst traps do their job.
And you said that was kind of your introduction to that world anyway.
Definitely.
So
it starts with the thirst traps, and then you go deeper.
it's a slippery slope.
It's a very slippery slope. Keep on looking at Ray like, hey. I don't know why. I'm being a right creep in this place. Anyway, any other questions?
Let me see. I'm gonna read she's back again. What is one big do on TikTok, and what is a definite don't? Ooh,
Oh,
yes.
that's a good one.
Common courtesy, etiquette.
Oh yeah. I feel like the big do's on TikTok is definitely commenting very encouraging words of encouragement. I think that's what I always love to see on TikTok. Like, even if you're just a lurker and you don't want to make any videos yourself, that's fine. You don't have to make any videos. You can just browse and have a look and dip in and out. You don't have to commit. But definitely, if you see a video of someone, especially if they're putting themselves in a vulnerable position, because there is a lot of vulnerability in sharing your story, and a lot of these content creators, maybe they show something as a joke, but other videos are more vulnerable, sharing their own personal stories or situations, that it's nice to see a lot of words of encouragement when you see the comment section. And any words of critique or any bad vibes, like, or just keep it to yourself. I think that's not really appropriate. I mean, that's kind of a given with online stuff, right?
So the usual,
I would hope
yeah.
the usual don'ts. I guess also another don't would be like, be aware that your video could go viral, so be aware of the consequences that it could potentially. So if you value your privacy, then maybe make your content like friends only or just private. You can also make TikToks and just save them on your phone and send them to your friends. I do that all the time because I think some of the trends are funny. Yeah, I think that's fun, isn't it? It's just a laugh, isn't it?
Cool.
Not much else to do during quarantine, is there?
I was just wondering if we could end on
let's
one of your TikToks, actually. You have the one...
I've got one there. Yeah,
the mutuals.
Yeah, it's a bit cringe though, isn't it?
I love it.
Do you love it?
I think it's cute.
All right, shall we show it?
Let's do it. It's an introduction to your TikTok.
It's an introduction to my TikTok, and this one was my sort of like desperate attempt to get some attention, which I like to do a lot. Here it is. There we go. This is me.
Mutuals.
My name is my favorite color. My height, my sign, do I have a lover?
Food. That's it. That's with the stoner. That's with the stoner filter. My eyes don't look like that usually.
FYI.
FYI. No, it's all right. Sometimes I do. Anyway, that's the end.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yamuna.
I left my phone. My phone case.
Going for real. Oh, we did? Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. That was fun. Thanks again, Yamuna. So we're going to introduce our next guest.
Who is Jamal Phoenix. So, Jamal is a French Creole FTM porn performer currently based in Berlin. One of the main reasons for him to start his career was the lack of black FTM folks' representation in the gay porn industry and the fetish industry. So his work blurs a line between sexuality, performing arts, and kinky practices. Passionate dancer above all, it's clear for Jamal that his body is not only his primary work tool, but also a deep well of exploration. So what we're gonna do next is play Jamal's amazing presentation, and then we're gonna have a Q&A with him afterwards. And we can also see him in the back. Yeah, that's true.
Good evening, everybody. This is Jamal Phoenix. Very happy about the time we're going to be spending together, even though it's virtually. And I'm especially excited about the theme for tonight, which is about building intimacy online. And because we're talking about intimacy, I thought that tonight I would take you on a journey into one of my most intimate and private porn setup, which is my bedroom. I'm gonna show you. So welcome into Jamal's private studio, which is basically Jamal's bedroom. And with white bed sheets, very porny. We love it. And so this is the set that I'm using when I need to create content for platforms like OnlyFans, Just for Fun, etc., etc. Not gonna go too deep into that today, but just as quick explanations for those of you who don't know what they are. These platforms are content creation platforms that sex workers and porn performers like me are using to create content, sexual content, to sell. And yeah, so it's one of the few options that we have to sustain ourselves since the pandemic hit us. They are not perfect, they're far from perfect, but they are just another way to keep on working, basically. And also, when once you know how to use them, it can be very fun. And for somebody like me who is very nerdy about his job, it was just something new to try, and I have to say that I got really into it. I see it also as a like a different option to create digital kinship and to create a relationship with the viewers, to create, you know, fantasy and dreams and jerk-off material. Let's be honest. I really see this as an opportunity to expand my knowledge about my work also. Like, let's say that it's part of my sexual research. And it's interesting also the way that we connect with the viewer. We call them our fans. It's really interesting the way that we connect with them, because it's internet and because it's online, it can just reach so much further, because internet doesn't have limit. You can reach people who are on the other side of the world and you can connect in that way. And I really find this fascinating, how we can be so far apart distance-wise, but also because of our backgrounds or whatever, and still we find a way to connect through digital content. So what I do is sexual digital content. I'm a sex worker, I'm a porn performer, and because it's a bit more difficult now to find either porn partners or even just clients, this is just another way that I have to sustain myself. Okay, I decided to sit down because I'm drinking whiskey. Cheers. All right, so what's really interesting about working online is that the requests that I get from my fans, I have a lot of followers who are black. I know that they are because they tell me. They tell me that they're really happy to see somebody like me representing the black community in the gay scene, the gay porn scene, and that wherever they are from, they're like feeling the connection with my work, and that it's just really beautiful to see different representation of black gayness or gay blackness in porn. And yeah, and sometimes they have some requests, because I have a welcome message to my followers to tell them, if there is anything you would like to see, let me know, and if I like it, then I can create this kind of content for you. And most of the time I just get very simple requests like, we just want to see you naked so we can see your skin, or like we want to see you just touching yourself, or what did I get? We just want to see you waking up. And I also get a lot of requests from, like I said, black people, black men telling me, we just love to see your black on black content, and we would just be happy to see even more of that, just more black on black content. And I'm like, yes. Oh, and I also received some really interesting messages from my fans. I've actually received a few wedding proposals. Yes, and oh, actually I'm just gonna read to you some messages that I received. So there are things like, I want you to be my daddy, which I think I'm not old enough yet for that. And this one is really cute. Thank you for your feed, heart, heart, heart. I feel represented and visible, and you project the kind of sensuality I want to see more of in the world. Clap, clap, clap. It's very cute, and when I receive messages like this, I just think, okay, there's something that I do that must be right, because if people can still feel connected through my work, through the way that I represent myself, then it's a win-win. No, this is too intense. Whoa, this is really intense. I'll just stick to that one, actually. Yeah, like, to have a community around me who looks like me, it doesn't exist. I don't have people like me around me. I am very blessed with people who are trans mask also, and sex workers and porn performers who are around me, and these are my babies. And we can share our experience with each other, and this is super, super important to have people who understand what you're going through and with who you can relate and share not only just experiences, bad or good, but just knowledge also, and that you don't have to explain. So this is super important. But like, if I want to connect with people who are at the intersection of what my experience is, I can only do this online. There's only online that I find people like this. And that's when online community becomes very important. This is what creating an online local network means. This is what I'm using my social media for as well. So I'm using it for my work, of course, but I am also using it for connecting with, to find my kin, basically. Like Twitter. Okay, I registered on Twitter because Twitter is the only platform, the only social media platform where you can promote sexual content. So that's why I registered on Twitter. And I was amazed at first to see how many trans masculine performers are in gay porn. I was like, whoa, wow. So many of us which is really fucking amazing. But then I was also baffled by how how few of us are actually Black. And I was like, I'm sure there's probably way more that I don't have access to, and how to get an access to that. And I realized while using hashtags and just using the social media in a way that is thought of, like following certain pages and putting certain comments and using certain hashtags and whatever, this is how you create your visibility. And that's how I was creating my visibility as a Black transmasculine gay performer. And this is how I got to, this is how I got to connect with other people like this. They were like, oh, a Black transmask performer in gay porn. Oh, let me follow this person, and blah, 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 algorithm. And that's how I found other people like me, through social media. And I love that we have this fantasy of thinking, hopefully one day we can meet and connect physically with each other and create content together, work, together. And now we are building our community online, and this is so important and so beautiful. And I love to think that this is one of the ways that we can connect, and hopefully one day we can also connect physically, to really feel each other. And as a Black FTM person, I am aware that I am fetishized a lot in my job. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. I can just create my own way to represent myself, and I don't have control over what people are going to think, but I can have a control about how or if it affects me. Having a community with who you can relate to becomes super important, because we can just really go deeper into the understanding that we have about each other's lives and share resources. And this is super important. And empower each other as well. We are not on the same continent, we don't have the same lives, but we can relate into, there's something we can relate to. And that's just enough for us to connect with each other. And that's also how I'm using my Twitter, my Instagram and whatever, is to connect with other transmasculine performers and also Black performers. And so far so good. Oh my god, this whiskey is so good. Yeah, so as a Black transmasc sex worker, finding a community to connect with is super important, not only just for survival, but just for enjoyment. Because yeah, we are doing the same thing. We are working to provide intimate content for people, to provide dreams, to provide joyful material, fantasy, and again, jerk off material, which is really important. A lot of people are completely isolated with this pandemic. They don't have physical contact anymore, they don't have sexual contact anymore. And what do? They go online and they watch porn. And that's why we're here also. That's why we're here, to make sure that these people can enjoy themselves. And of course, these platforms are not perfect. We all know that social medias are far from perfect. But we manage, we find a way, and most importantly, we find a way to connect with each other, to stay connected. To stay connected. This is what we do, and this is what's beautiful about it, that we manage to stay connected and create our beautiful communities of desires. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna end with. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I'm gonna be sticking around for the Q&A, so if you have questions, I'm here.
Okay, Jamal, can you hear us? Yes. Can you hear us okay?
Jamal is connecting to audio now.
You have no audio?
You have audio from here. Okay, I'm coming.
We're having some technical difficulties.
So through HDMI or through built-in outputs? Built-in output. That's where I'm coming out of.
Can you hear me? Because I can hear
Oh,
you.
hey. Yeah.
Yay!
It's going.
Yes. Okay.
Hey, Jamal. Can you see both of us?
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for your beautiful video and talk. So we're gonna open up the floor to audience questions.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for the video. It was so cute.
So awesome. Yeah. Okay, so we're going into YouTube to see if we have anything. People are also a little bit shy, so maybe it takes a little bit of time.
Any questions at all?
I don't hear you so well, though.
Okay. We're going to try our best here.
To speak a little bit louder. So we also have an audience.
Now I can.
Yeah, okay.
Perfect.
We also have an audience here. So we'll say the audience in this space and also the audience at home if you have any questions.
Including our guests.
Yes. Yell them out.
Any questions at all?
Well, maybe I have a basic question, let's say.
Go for it.
So you're talking a lot about building community with basically other like black FTMs, black sex workers, black people in the gay community, let's say. So I'm curious if you have like people in your community that you also find really important that people follow and share and follow their work so that there is also a bit more visibility for them.
Like, you want me to drop names?
Yes.
If you want,
if you
if
feel
you can,
comfortable.
yeah, if you can.
Or maybe some of the people who are in your community or in your network.
Or what is it that makes them so attractive to you?
Wait, sorry, you mean like black people who are also trans and sex workers, or?
Yeah, who are in your community. You're talking a lot about maybe building community with people online and things like that. So who are some of the people that you've been able to build with? So I mean, I could say a list of names that would be really long because there's a lot of them. But like, for example, when I the first gay porn that I did was with another trans masculine person, and I'm very, very proud of it. It was for both of us our first FTM for FTM scene, and just that I think is already a statement, you know, because there's not. I mean, it's been only like a couple of years that FTM really start to have a place, like to carve a space for themselves in gay porn. And just even to think that we do content just with each other is already like, yes. So this person I did the porn with is a good friend of mine now. Yes, I mean, I don't know, I'm not gonna drop names because this is just like... Fair.
But I'm still struggling, to be honest, to find more black trans masc people. It's still not so much out there, you know? So I feel like here in Europe, I don't know any. If you are, please manifest yourself if you want. Most of them are actually in the US. So that's why, because we can't really travel at the moment, this is like really amazing that we can still have this connection through the internet, because I don't know, it's making me feel less isolated also in that sense. Just to know that I can share my experience with people who understand, you know, what I'm going through. So yeah. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, totally.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also have a question, and I'm going to take advantage of this silence in the chat. what do you love most about your fans?
What do I love about my fans?
Yeah.
Most of them are very, very supportive. Either they like reshare my posts, or they just create posts for me just to like fight for example, in Instagram, you have the shadow ban. That's very annoying. And so I have a bunch of people who are like actively following me, not just ghost following me, but actually doing stuff like making posts, resharing, and this kind of thing that you need to get more online visibility. So that's what I like about them, how actively supportive they are. Have a good day, like, or I like this movie that you did that was really, really amazing, and then they tell you why. And yeah, again, this morning, actually, a black transmasc person contacted me to tell me that they're like, that he's amazed to see a person who is black and transmasc and openly gay, because it's not something that's so accepted in the queer communities. And he was telling me that he's very shy about it because his friends, either they would judge it or they would not understand it, and he's just like finding inspiring to see somebody who is just so out there about it. Not that I am doing it just to be out there, it's just who I am, but it's like that's also what I'm doing. Like what I love about this my job is that you get to inspire people. As much as I am inspired by other people, I get to give it back also, and that's what I found beautiful. So I love it when people just give me this kind of feedback also, to tell me, hey, I'm not here, but I see you, and because of you, we connect, and thank you for that. So yeah, that's what I love about them. And please keep on sending me wedding proposals. If you have money, I will say yes. Yes. I love this wedding proposal shit. It's just so amazing.
It sounds like a really fruitful relationship.
Yeah.
So it looks like we have a couple questions from our audience.
Okay, so Tracy, hi Tracy. Tracy would like to know, it's very small. While online community connection has surged during the pandemic, what kinds of things are you planning to do to maintain this online momentum when this thing hopefully ends?
I'm just gonna keep on doing what I'm doing. Like I have a different, I'm using different platforms for creating content, and I'm still gonna use them because it's fun. It's just fun to use them, and I like to keep that also as a different option, because I also do like I call them festival movies, like bigger movie that ends up in festivals and with like a whole day or a few days of shooting, and it's a very different experience because it's usually more elaborate, or from my experience at least. And when I do things like OnlyFans or just for fans, like these platforms I was talking about, it's usually more spontaneous, on the go, sometimes even with people that I just hook up with on Grindr, and we just like shoot content. And it's like kind of fresh, and so I think I'm just gonna keep using everything, because I'm just like I said, I'm just very nerdy. I just like to try out everything and to go to really explore as much as I can.
Cool. And we got one final question from DF Bislick. So you said that being in this industry, you can't help but being fetishized. I don't see this necessarily as a bad thing, but I can imagine some do. What would you say to your followers to balance this out for the general trans community that does not want to be fetishized?
That's a good question. I also don't mind being fetishized because, like I said in the video, it's not something that I can anyway control. So, and it's also a way for me, to be honest, I use it as a marketing. So I'm using certain words that I like for my job that I don't really use in my life, in my personal life. for me, it's just also a way to sell myself because that's what I'm doing. And I guess every experience is different. People deal with being fetishized differently. I don't have a single answer for that. I think like every trans person can decide for themselves how they want to react. But for my followers, I don't know, because it's, like I said, it's not something that I can control, but there's also one thing that personally I would like to demystify. Like, I know that a lot of trans masked people don't like to use the word pussy when they refer to their genitals in porn. But for myself, it's just like, I want to demystify, is that a word? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Desacralize, what's the word? Like, I'm a guy with a pussy. Like, that's what I am. And for me, it's not a problem to use this kind of word when I promote myself online. It's like, this is what it is. And it's my personal choice, it's my personal decision. And like, I don't have any advice to give to my followers because I decide if something affects me or not, you know? Like, people can say whatever they want. I can work on myself to see if I'm going to be affected or not, you know? If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Well,
Great answer.
Thank you so much for your answers, and thank you so much for your video. We hope
pleasure.
to invite you over to a physical BARTALK sometime. But yeah.
I would love to.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jamal.
Bye.
So we're gonna take a 5-minute break, and immediately after we'll be talking to Danielle Brathwaite-Shirley about her work. Stay tuned.
Hello.
Welcome back from the break. You are watching BARTALK, hosted by myself, Yoon Lee, and
Rae Parnell.
Yes.
So we're really excited to have our third guest, Danielle. So Danielle Brathwaite-Shirley is an artist living and working in London. Danielle creates work mostly in the form of games and installations that seek to archive Black trans experience using technology to imagine environments that center Black trans bodies. Those living, those that have passed, and those that have been forgotten.
Yes. Hi, Danielle. So we've got a presentation from you.
Link in the Zoom, by the way.
What did you say?
I sent you a new link in the Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Oh, you have it.
Okay.
Perfect.
Give me 1 sec then. I have to grab it.
Yes. Technical things, yes.
Just 1 moment to get this new link.
Yes. We're very close. Maybe we can also put it in the yeah.
Okay, while you lot are doing that, I guess I will talk about what this presentation is. So this presentation is an interactive presentation, which means that I will need the participation of the audience members in order for us to decide where to go and what to talk about. And so at certain points within the talk, we will send out a poll to you in the YouTube link, I think. And if you click on that poll and you can vote for A, B, or C, and the choices will be as they are. So if it's like go to the boat, go to the sea, choice A will mean go to the boat, and choice B will mean go to the sea. And so yeah, I'm quite excited to do it with you and see what you do. There's also a moment where I might ask you to discuss in the chat something. And at that point, I will just read out whatever anyone writes in the chat. And if no one writes anything, there's also contingency for that.
All right, so we're going to get started. We are in the homeland.
Oh, okay. You are in the homeland. We are looking for something. We have been told that what we seek resides somewhere in the vast ocean. This news has not filled you with joy, but with worry. How can you search all that water? You prepare a crew and manage to purchase a large sailing vessel and set sail to scour the surface of water. Rumors of the wounds of the ocean echo across the lips of the crew members. Others talk about the feeling of being watched and followed across the sea. Sometime into our journey, and after losing track of the parts of the sea that we knew, the ocean split. It was as though two different liquids were meeting each other, but couldn't mix. One is full of shadows, and the other has towering waves that crash down upon each other. So the options are sail towards the shadows or sail towards the strong waves. So sail towards the shadows will be A, and sail towards the strong waves will be B.
And there's a bit of a delay, so it'll take a few moments for our audience to respond.
But we have just posted a link in the chat of YouTube. So audience members, please go to the link in the chat and vote whether we sail towards the shadows or towards the strong waves?
And while we do that, as there is a delay, because it seems to be quite a significant one, I
Yeah.
guess I'll just talk about these images. So some of these images in this work are, I mean, I've made them all, but some of them are part of my existing work, and others are AI generated. And so, for example, this work is an AI generated work of like the back of a Black trans person's face and turning it into a sky and a sea. And there's a lot of that within all of this. So the background is actually made out of someone's eyes that I've just manipulated a lot to make it look like the ocean. And there's further points on.
All right.
I don't see a link in the YouTube.
It should be there.
If the link
Yeah.
doesn't come up, because there's only 15 people watching, you could just type in the YouTube chat.
Exactly. We'll just look. What is the overwhelming answer?
Yeah.
That might be easiest.
Unless there's nothing.
So A is for sail towards the shadows. B is sail towards the strong waves.
Waves. We have one for waves. Wave of shadows. Well, that's not an answer.
So either A or B. A for shadows. B
Waves.
for waves. You're not gonna get shadow waves or strong shadows.
Four for waves.
Alright, looks like it's an overwhelming
Shadow.
A. So we're gonna sail towards the shadows.
Sail towards the shadows. These shadows are the ancestors of the sea. One of the shadows comes close to you, and you gaze upon their face as they begin talking to you. Fun fact, this is a picture of Beyonce. Shadow. If you don't remember us, then that's okay. But we know you better than you know yourselves. Do you think about us when you travel over the foundations we made? Those that allow you to walk steadily? You see, the feeling of follow your body comes across you, and follow your heart. The shadows here have so much depth. As we sail over them, they seem to have no interest in our presence here. We plunge our hands into the water, reaching out towards them, but the closer we think we are getting, the further away they seem to be. Some of us strike up conversations with the shadows and ask about the wound we are looking for. Some tell us we need to sail towards the sun, and others tell us we need to sail at night. So type in sun in the chat for the sun and sail at night for the night. While you do that, I will talk about these images. Okay, so this is actually Beyonce. And this is here because there's a technique in my work that I use often, which is using real life images of people and then manipulating them into characters. And so essentially what this is how to describe this? This is a half of Beyonce's face put into a program, which then makes it into 3D. And then I've symmetried it. So I've made each side the same and I turned it on its side. So essentially what you're seeing is half of Beyonce's face kind of shoved together to make a new face. I still think she looks like one of the greatest pop stars ever, but I don't know. And these two images are, so I'm going to be making this card game, this online card game, maybe this year or next year. And it's going to be about essentially archives, and it's going to be about looking at certain pictures and trying to draw out, how to say, for example, there's a picture of this person called Mary Jones in 1836, and she's a Black trans person. And the poster is warning everyone of her. And the game will have these cards that allow you to write a new history for her instead of keeping that old one that the poster holds. Maybe that gave you enough time to vote. Let's see.
Definitely.
Yes, it looks like we are sailing at night.
Sail at night, they say. We wait until night to sail. As it grows darker, you feel the presence of something else here. Oh. The winds begin to whisper in your ear. and it becomes increasingly foggy. You can barely see 100 meters in front of you. You and your crew begin to feel threatened by this darkness, and panic sets in. This was a mistake. Some of the crew think about how they will be remembered when they are lost in this darkness. They swap ideas, pills, and anything else anyone needs. We'll come back to this blue image. This reminds you of a memory at home. Through the oppressive night, you can make out two objects that glow dimly in the distance. One looks like the searchlight of a boat, and the other looks like it's searching for something. Oh, sorry, the boat looks like it's searching for something. Maybe it's searching for you. If it is, you're not sure what its intentions are when it finds you. The other is a structure of some kind. The light that comes from this is different in a way you don't understand. Its glow gently throbs. So we can either sail towards the search boat, sail towards the structure, or send a warning to the boat. And I'm going to scroll up to this blue image. I just realized you can't see what I'm seeing, so I'm going to scroll up to this blue image just to let you know. So this blue image is how I try to remember my first hormone pill. So on the left-hand side is, I think it's called Estrofem. And it was the first set of hormone pills that I got from my friends, very legally, let's say. And part of my practice is trying to remember these moments and give them the larger impetus that they actually have. For example, a hormone pill to me means so much. Getting my first hormone pill, just taking the first one, had meant so much even before I had the pill to take. So I wanted to store this moment digitally and store it as an archive, and trying to turn that one pill into an archive. And so usually my process of this is taking an image of something from real life, which is in this case the pill, and using it as a material to craft a world or a character. And I actually created this whole island called, it was called the Island of Mazes or something. I can't remember exactly what it's called. It's not out yet, comes out later. But essentially what you could do on the island is, it's all made out of hormone pills. And everything you can do on the island kind of talks about the hidden knowledge of transness within history. Do we still need more time? Do we get the time?
No, I think people voted for A, so sail towards the search boat.
Perfect. A. The boat is a small fishing boat with an old figure on it. They see you approach and smile, although their skin is almost transparent, their presence is suffocating. Old fisher. Now what are you doing all the way out here? You're lucky you found this part of the ocean. Everyone that gets here is here for a reason. The sea picks you, you see. Now my task is to whisper in one of your ears. The only choice you get is which ear. Choose which ear to hear these whispers. So either whisper in your right ear or your left ear, unless you have another ear somewhere we don't know.
So you can definitely just type in left or right.
How are we doing for time?
We're doing good.
Yeah, we're good with time.
I don't have any images to talk about here, but maybe the fun fact is for this one, this image here of the blue figure is an AI generated image of, I think it's a black trans person called Toby Adebayo, who's an artist in London. And essentially it's actually a picture of her and then tried to turn her into a landscape, picture of them, sorry. And they came out as this, I don't know exactly how to describe this, but this kind of strange figure. Yeah.
It looks like people would like to have the left ear.
The left ear. You find yourself facing the dirt. You hear something just below the surface. Digging your hand into the wet soil, you try to pull up mounds of dirt to get to the voice. You keep digging until you have dug yourself into a hole. It's dark down here, but you keep traveling traveling towards the voice until you see it. And so this is kind of the first point where I start talking really about my work. So this work is called Digging for Black Trans Lives. It is a 40-minute animation. And it started from a story I wrote about wishing that I could dig up Black trans people in the past and talk to them about what their society was like. Because I have a huge fascination with this idea of a Black trans society and what was transness in the past, even if the words weren't the same. And for example, the Carib people, so I'm from the Caribbean, and the Carib people, before colonialism or anything, they all believed that they shared a soul. And so there wasn't such thing as a gender because the ground, the earth, the trees, and the people and the animals all shared the same soul. So they all got the same treatment. And the only way that people delineated between how important someone was if they could do something to help another person. So if they were a good gardener, if they were really good at cooking, if they were really good at fighting, if they were really good at hunting, for example. And those people will be given a name that denotes that this person is an important person for society, but gender wouldn't factor into that. And so this whole project kind of came about of me wishing that I could dig for Black trans people and talk to them about their, like, how they essentially lived and how they passed on, and trying to get away from this perception that when a Black trans person dies, it has to be like horrible and before their time, and instead knowing that we have a richness and wealth of history that has just been erased. You think about all the Black trans ancestors you know nothing about. You think about all those memories lost, all those secrets they had, the foundations they left behind. You think about the questions you had answered to the dehumanizer back at home. Why had you answered them? Why do we keep answering them? And I can't bother to describe these images. I mean, this is an image of the installation of it, which is the one that looks like a real image. Through this journey, you learn the power of digging. We don't know what to do with this. Maybe it will help you when you get to the wound. After learning all this, you know where to go. We decide to set sail towards the wound. You sail silently. The water seems to take on the heat of a body, as though your boat is a hand caressing someone's skin. You need to treat these waves as you would treat your own. Oh, this isn't a mistake. Finally, just ahead of us is the wound. Finally, we have come across the wound. It is the hole in the sea, a void that refuses to close. Even the water is scared of what lies in the wound as it twists and turns away from the void. The currents begin to pull us towards the wound, and only now do the crew wonder what is in the wound. Discuss, well, let's see how the chat goes with this, what is in the wound, who is in the wound, and what happens when you go in the wound. You must discuss this before you enter. So that means, chat, that you need to write in the chat what you think is in the wound and who you think is in the wound and what you think happens when you go in order for us to go inside. If you don't, we shan't.
Can we participate in this discussion?
Of course.
All right. Okay. So the wound is a hole in the sea, a void that refuses to close. Even the water is scared of what lies in the wound as it twists and turns. It's a hole in the sea that refuses to close, and the water is scared of what lies inside.
I don't know.
Thoughts?
On the spot.
Suggestions?
Any thoughts?
We need help.
You can ask me questions. I can be like the game master.
Okay. Is what lies inside a living thing?
Is that a question?
Yeah.
What lies inside a living thing?
No. It's
it's what lies inside a living thing.
Is what lies inside the wound a living thing?
Yes, I would say yes.
A spirit? Maybe.
Perhaps.
Yes,
Is it one thing or multiple things?
Multiple, many.
Multiple things. Okay.
Yamuna says octopus.
Okay, just a single octopus.
Tracy G says, the secret about you, you're most afraid of to admit to yourself. It is true.
Oh, all right, Tracy.
Yamuna then has a little picture of a mermaid.
Just a little mermaid.
Anne says, is there fear in the wound? Yes. I wouldn't say like there's only fear in the wound, but there definitely is some fear inside of there. A Lil Huston Heritage. Oh, I love this name. Mariana, histories that refuse to be forgotten. That's a really nice one.
Are we getting closer?
I don't think you'll ever guess. But I think it's always interesting to see what people write. But now I like that it's like a mystery everyone tries to solve.
So, shall we enter the wound now?
Yeah. For time's sake, we shall enter the wound.
Let's do it, yeah.
You are in the wound. It's so cold in here. There is no sound. A galaxy full of images flashes before you, but you can't make sense of any of it. The wound has you. Speak to the wound or go deeper. And we're near the end, so don't you worry.
We have a go deeper
Yeah,
here.
someone says go deeper. Yeah. Let's see.
Go. The Kraken. The Kraken. People always say the Kraken. Get away with your
I mean,
damn.
honestly, it was the first thing that popped in my head.
The Kraken. Go deep. Okay, I'm going to count down from 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think we're going deeper.
We're going deeper.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. Okay. The deeper we go, the more clear it is the wound is full of people. They seem to be stored on the sides of its surface, waiting, unmoving. As you go deeper, the pressure you feel on top of you increases significantly. The air becomes tight in your chest. You find it hard to breathe. Looking around, you can't make out anything. Time is not linear here. Instead, it seems to move forwards and backwards at a pace you can't quite comprehend. The free fall comes to an abrupt stop as you are suspended in air and then pulled towards the walls of the wound. Your body sinks into its surface as though it had always been there. As your body becomes stuck here, you see the same number of people as your crew float up. They are taking your place on the surface. There isn't enough room for both of you up there. And that's the end.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow.
All right. Yeah. That was a very immersive experience.
Yeah. Very beautiful, very poetic.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking us through it. So this is our Q&A session, and as we know, there is a delay, so we'll be waiting for our audience back at home. In the meantime, we just want to mention that Danielle is already presenting a work as part of Rainbow's End. This is the festival that we're in, Rainbow's End, curated by CCU, Creative Coding Utrecht, and Her Visions. So go ahead and take a look at the online exhibition that's going on.
Yeah, or you can check the work out at resurrectionland.com.
Or that, yeah. So can you actually talk a little bit about that work?
Which one? The one I'm showing?
Yes, on resurrectionland.com.
Yeah, oh god, how to describe this? So it's like a pairing of a game and another 40-minute animation. I don't know why 40 minutes is my time, but apparently 40-minute animations is something I enjoyed doing. And so essentially how it began is kind of going on from that Digging for Black Trans Life story. I wrote like a sci-fi about a technology was discovered that allowed you to scan Earth and bring back Black trans people, but digitally. And so all these Black trans ancestors were brought back and stored into a library. And over the time, more and more people started to visit this library. And these memories that were scanned became sentient. And so essentially these Black trans ancestors had second digital lives. And the film is about how that was this archive of them was co-opted into an esports, and how a group of Black trans people go in to save them and like say like this is not right, this shouldn't be happening. And the game is the archive that is made. So essentially you get to see the game that they play on the esports, and then you also get to watch the film of what happens.
Okay,
yeah,
very
so cool.
All right, so please get your questions ready and just go ahead and type in the chat when you have it ready. We are waiting for them. But in the meantime, I wanted to say, so I checked out a couple of your games, and they do have this super immersive feeling in there, and you're mostly just creating it with text, some image, sometimes moving, sometimes not, and music. But you also have a very particular aesthetic. What are some of your influences there?
God. Yeah, so I'm quite influenced by like early PlayStation 1 video games. I really like crunchy crap graphics. Like I feel because at the time that those were made, most people in the industry were just, you know, and still now, just white men, you know. And so they had all these engines, all these tools, and they used them to tell boring stories. And so for me, it's really interesting to go back and use similar techniques to them, but instead to use that technique to archive a Black trans person and see what that does. Because if you use like the techniques of a PlayStation 1 right now, it's really quick, it's quite intuitive, so you can do lots of iterations of how to archive someone correctly, and capture like a feeling of something. Because I think those graphics lend towards me more a transmission of a tone, like capturing like a tone of an event or the feeling of what it felt like to take your first hormone or something like this, rather than like the realism of a picture. And so I think that's what kind of draws me to it. It's a kind of quick working style, but at the same time, I feel like I'm kind of being a bit cheeky, and taking these engines that I think white men couldn't use properly, and then trying to reuse them in a way that can better show I guess the like range that games could possibly have and like graphical styles can have.
Cool. So we've already got a couple of the questions from our audience. Danny asks, "Thank you so much for that experience. I love how immersive it is, and I'm sorry about saying the Kraken." My question is, what games inspired you to do this work?
Right. Yeah. Oh gosh. So this work is mostly inspired by early text-based adventure games. This is such a nerdy rabbit hole we're going down. But games, I don't know, you're not gonna know any of these. Games like Zork, games like, God, I'm not gonna know any of it. Dream Daddy. Oh my, you should play Dream Daddy.
Yeah,
Who doesn't love Dream Daddy?
Exactly.
I love Dream Daddy.
Yeah, because so for me, I'm a huge fan of ASCII graphics, which are essentially graphics made out of text. And something for me here has always been like how these games needed to use well-written text to get across the story, and the engine that was used would be the Dungeon Master. But for this one, it was quite interesting, me being the engine, and everything kind of being transmitted through me, I have all the ability to guide you where we're going, so that I know the foundations of everything will be Black and trans. Because the problem I'm having now is that if I don't write the code, I still think there's a layer of Black transness that's being missed, and so a layer of erasure that could happen. But if a Black trans person is the engine that you use, then you get that like foundational element for everything else to go on top of. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that.
Let's take one final question.
We got one. Oh, apparently Tracy does know what Zork is. Oh, and so does Danny. So you're in a good company here. Okay, so Tracy G asks, how does using gaming or games as an archive space allow you to say things that other platforms don't?
Yeah, so using games, like, it's really about the choices that people get. So in a lot of my works, when you have to pick your identity at the beginning, that will determine everything that you get to see. So for example, Black Trans Archive, if you pick Black Trans identity, there's 2 hours of footage you can see, but if you pick cis, there's only 20 minutes. And so a lot of it will really determine how you get to experience the work. And also there's things in place that if you treat the work or mistreat the work by a choice that comes up, then we can kick you out. And so it's kind of like, it's more of a you get to read the person playing and like say like, who are you? How are you interacting with this work? And if you're not interacting correctly, or if you are, different things will happen. That's why I think gaming really lends this sort of work around identity and politics and all this stuff, because you actually get to, instead of me being the performer or the onus being on me, it's actually you, the choices you make, the choices you made before even coming here will affect how much of this work you can appreciate.
All right, cool. Wait, can we just do one more question? Because Nia is asking this, and we have to get a question from Nia. So Nia asks, the story you tell is beautiful. What is your research around the world building for the projects? Yeah, it's kind of a broad question.
So the research for this one, okay. So first of all, there are 3 different versions of this game. So one of them is a video-based game, so it changes video. The other one is a plainly text-based game that you play by yourself. And then there's this one. And so they all use a different engine and they all have a different focus. So one of the focuses is you, the other is your ancestors, and this other focus is kind of as a group of us who's watching this experience. The most of this research was actually done into piracy, the history of the Caribbean, and how history is written on the sea. There's a lot of, so basically I was trying to figure out how can we write history on the sea, which is an ever churning thing that erases everything that happens on it. And that's kind of where most of the research was, on trying to figure out how we can talk about this huge loss of information. That one is the archive is also a huge loss of information, but also the sea and how people have used it, how Black people see the sea and have interacted with it, my parents, my ancestors' relationship to the sea, how other ancestors relate to the sea, and as well as piracy. What piracy was, and also the different kinds of piracy there were. So I did a lot of research into the boats, and into, some of them had their own like terms and conditions. So when you went into a pirate ship, you had to go by the pirate's terms and conditions, not anyone else's. It was the captain's terms and conditions, which was a democratic consensus. And so you could, in theory, have a Black trans pirate ship that you had to go by the Black trans rules. And so this is kind of the research I've used to go into this direction.
That's really cool. Thanks again so much for sharing your work, Danielle. And you can find Danielle where?
Oh God. Either at, I'll write it in the chat, at Lady Dan, GFUA, don't ask me what that means, or at my website, DanielleBrathwaite-Shirley.com.
There you go.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you so much, Danielle.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a nice evening. Bye.
You can end already.
Sometimes it feels like you get stuck in a moment.
All right. We're coming to an end of the program. So, our final guests are Rae Major and Typhoon Angels Prodigy. Yes. Rae Major is a researcher, zinester, educator, and mother of the Kiki House of Major, based in The Hague, in the Netherlands. Rae does community building for queer and trans communities of color by programming events, making zines, giving workshops, and hosting Kiki functions in the ballroom scene. Typhoon Angels was told he was never going to be able to dance again after a big accident in 2011. He soon started voguing and became a part of the Dutch ballroom scene, starting the Kiki House of Angels in 2015 and ending up in the House of Prodigy in the major scene. He is now a well-known commentator, traveling to balls all around Europe. So let's give it up for Typhoon and Rae.
Okay. Yes. Maybe talk a little closer. Very intimate. Yes. Okay, well, I've been speaking all night, but I'll switch to voguing gear. I'm Rae Major.
I am Father Typhoon Prodigy, overall founding Father Typhoon Angels.
Yeah, and so tonight we're going to be talking about how the ballroom scene has basically transformed onto an online space during the pandemic.
Yes.
So maybe you can start by like introducing what the ballroom scene is, maybe for people who don't know.
Okay, so ballrooms.
Yeah.
The ballroom scene is a space for actually everyone, but it's mostly focused for people within the LGBTQIA+ community, and it's been founded by Black trans women.
Yeah. And a lot of people know voguing like through the dance style, right? So people usually know like Vogue Femme.
Yeah, the death drops.
Yeah, the death drops, let's say. Yeah. Thank you. But ballroom actually has like a lot of different categories and a lot of ways that you can participate.
Yeah, it's most of.
Yeah, and I think what's been the most interesting about what's been happening on the online spaces, let's say, is we are finding what's really important. Like, I think what we both noticed is like audience.
Yes, most definitely. Like, it's very crazy how everything changed in this whole pandemic, especially like on a online platform, which we actually never imagined. So
Yeah. And so what we're going to talk about is, again, how we're sort of like translating these elements onto an online space. So maybe we can start off with Diesel's Ball.
Yeah, of course. Diesel's Ball was actually one that came very quick when the pandemic started, and also quite out of the blue, I need to say. It was very weird in the beginning, because of course he did multiple balls, but the first one was, well, I felt quite weird about it because I was like, okay, so how are we going to do this? Because we need to have judges, there needs to be a DJ or a commentator, and like, how are we going to respond as audience, because we cannot really hype anyone up, so but eventually, like, the way he set everything up, and back then I didn't even knew Zoom was a thing.
I don't think anyone did. Yeah.
So yeah, that became also a huge thing. The way he executed it was actually, for the first time in this pandemic, it was really cute.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it was really like a literal translation of a ball. So you have all of the regular categories. You have the dancing categories. You have runway. You have sex siren.
Sex siren, yes.
Yeah. So we actually have a little clip. So what I can do is also show it so people have a little bit of a feeling.
Yeah,
what it was like. Very DIY. I'll also say. So I don't know if I can start it. Yes. Let's see. Does it work?
Category is arms control. Arms control.
It's very DIY.
Arms control. Category is.
So everyone is like voguing in their living room.
Yeah, but it was weird also because it was in your own space, So yeah, it was very new.
Judges, your score. 110. We have 110. Let's go. Continue. We have 210s.
One thing that was also very like a thing that I need to get used to was, especially with this ball, you didn't see the judges.
Yeah. And I think also what is really difficult is a lot of people understand ballroom to the performance aspect.
Yeah.
But as everyone knows, and I guess as we're seeing here too, when you're doing things online, there is often a delay. So what is happening often is people are, voguing their asses off, and it looks totally off to the audience. So this is something that was maybe a little bit difficult, but I think what was really special about this ball, and I think if we look at the rest of the balls that were happening online, what are really particular is like the audience participation.
Yeah, like as you could see in one of those clips, like the audience, like the people that were watching were really responding towards the performers. So even though the performers didn't directly see it, I think I do think that they felt some kind of connection or something like that.
For sure.
Because I know that when I was like when I was watching the live, I could really felt their performances. Even though there was a little delay. That was still like it still gave a little bit of a ballroom feeling at that moment because that was what we had.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like as an audience member and as someone who's missing the ballroom scene, I think this is also a way that we connect with each other.
Yeah.
Is like we're literally watching a ball together and commenting.
Yeah.
And being together, right? And like the comments are often talking about people's outfits.
Yeah. Like, oh, she came prepared. Oh, this. Oh, yeah.
yeah. And I think like that's something that we all really understand now. It's like audience is really key to ballroom.
Yeah.
And if there isn't audience, then it just isn't quite the same.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Like the audience sets the energy of the ball also.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
like
and you know that as a commentator.
Yeah, as a commentator. Yeah, I know that as a commentator. Yeah. And as a DJ, yes.
Yeah.
Like the audience is one of the key points.
Yeah. So another online space that was happening. So you have these literal translations of balls, but then you have like much more experimental ballroom situations. And one example is the call outs that you were doing.
Yeah. So that's actually really funny because the call outs actually didn't even start as the call outs. I was just bored at home and I was like, you know what? I just want to commentate, let me just go on Instagram Live and let me start commentating. So I did, and then people were sending me requests to join my live, and they were like, "Oh my God, can we please vogue? On your commentation?" I was like, okay, if you want to, And eventually, I felt like, okay, so maybe this could be a way for me to call people out, just to vogue and for people to request who they really wanted to see. And eventually, I did 2 episodes, but I'm trying to bring it back, No, but it was a total success.
Yeah.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah. We have some footage, so we're gonna go to the next one, and as soon as it's ready, because they're both quite short, I'll start playing it. Yeah. Okay. So here's one.
Picture 1001, 2002, 3003, and hold that buzz for me.
And here is one other one. And here you can also see the hearts, right?
Yeah.
2001, 2002, 3003, and hold that buzz for me.
So yeah, the first video.
The first video is like classic, doing anything at home because always a roommate or your mom.
Yeah.
Is walking in.
Yeah, and this one it was a guy from Russia, so his mom came in and was like, and he texted me afterwards. He was like, "Oh my God, my mom just came in and she saw me voguing." I was like, "Oh my God." So yeah, that was really something.
Yeah.
You experience a lot of different things when you do stuff spontaneously. So yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite videos.
Yeah, and it's cool too because in ballroom you have something in the very beginning called LSS, and this is when people who are important in the ballroom scene are sort of called out, right, to get their respect, to have their moments. And so I think this is also kind of a translation of that and a way that everyone in Europe can sort of feel bonded in a European LSS so that people can see kind of what's going on.
Because it was really nice because people from all over the world wanted to just join the call outs, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, yeah, that really felt like we trying to connect ballroom again, you know, but this time, even if it's through an online platform, it really felt like ballroom at that moment.
Yeah. Another thing that you were a part of and that you didn't organize was this ball in Barcelona.
Yeah, like from all the online balls that we had, like this one was also very different, you know, because with this one, people needed to prepare actually for that category. So they needed to send videos in for the categories, and then I will get all the videos, and then from based on the videos, I would judge people and then send through the next round. So yeah, for me, like there was also like, okay, how the hell do I do this? You know, like, cause of course I knew some of the people, you know, but then of course you need to be neutral. And it was like, okay, I know this person can perform better normally, but this person really ate it. Okay, so it was, it was very weird, but also quite a nice experience.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. And then another online function or ball that we did, that was actually a ball that Yamuna and I organized together, and we called it the Quarant Meme Kiki function because, quarantine, and then all you're doing is looking at memes.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of reflecting on the things that we had seen previously, and we felt like the dancing wasn't really working so well. And what we also felt was that there are a lot of categories that are kind of overlooked in ballroom.
Yeah.
Vogue Femme is hot, amazing, but that kind of overshadows some of the more fashion categories or also crafty categories. So we really tried to combine like quarantine culture with ballroom, let's say.
Yeah.
So what we asked people to do for the fashion categories, we asked them to create outfits. Oh wait, I can actually show the next slide, I think. So we asked people to create outfits from materials that they have at home. We asked them to recreate Hollywood actor people. What? The one from Jimmy's. Yeah. Yeah, I should have used that one. And then what we also saw was, this is also when TikTok was on the rise. And so Yamuna had the idea to invite people to make TikToks to also compete in the lip syncs. And what some of my favorite things that were happening during quarantine was watching reality TV all day. So we asked people to lip sync their favorite reality TV moments. So what I can do is I can show one of these, which I think is very good and I think iconic for many, maybe gay people and other people.
I'm not going to sit there and be a little lamb and just someone tear me to shreds like you do some of these other girls.
Girl, if I was quick to judge you, I'd judge you on that makeup. But girl, I could judge you on your lack of talent. You're a phony amateur,
girl. To you,
girl.
because you're a mean girl.
Amateur.
You're a mean girl.
Girl, you're a joke.
I'm the sweetest bitch you'll meet, but if you come for me, then you'll see a whole new side that you wouldn't have ever imagined. Honey, let the cookie crumble. Girl, if I was going to judge anyone, I'd judge you on that body where the shoulders should match them hips, but they don't, so...
What? Get her, Jade.
Girl, you had rolls all over the place in the back. It was disgusting.
Back rolls. This little queen is trying to really come for me today. Enough.
Okay, so this is one example of what we were asking people to do. And again, I think we were just trying to also, ballroom, if you're in the culture, it can be something that's really serious. And I think what we were also trying to do is bring back like a little bit of this like playful, goofy energy. The people really brought it. So I thought that was really very cute. Okay, so the ballroom community was also creating a lot of balls offline, but to me, I don't know how you feel about that, but maybe the most interesting thing that came out of it was some of the like Instagram pages and ballroom memes
and ballroom reacts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here you can see two memes created by our meme lord. Seven Angels, who's also our DJ. And yeah, I don't know if you have anything to say about ballroom memes, and I also have some things to say about this.
To be honest, ballroom meme caught me one time or a few times, and yeah, it's just funny because you see all the reactions beneath it, and I'm also thinking like, what the hell does go into your mind when you make these memes?
I mean, we can ask someone who is making memes.
So, everybody's bored at home, like bored out of their skulls, and like everybody's like thinking of what it's gonna be like when they like, when the first major ball, when everything like starts over, and it gets to the point when you're in quarantine, I think anybody can relate to this. You miss the things that annoyed you. It's like because they were a product of like all the things you were doing to enjoy yourself. You miss like waiting too long in line at the bar in the club, but you miss the club, so you even miss that part. It's kind of the same thing. You miss the little things that make ballroom, those things that might annoy you, those things that like, I've always wondered, why do we do this way? Those little things that you just miss. And I think making these kinds of memes and like having like a certain mood, like Sarabi,
that one is actually very
you see the GIF first, and then it's like, what does this remind you of in a ballroom context? And there's so many things that it reminds you of. You just can't put it into words. It's just the mood.
Yeah.
You just try to find like something to put in it, and then you have more like pop culture ones. The one from WandaVision that everybody was using in every single facet of society, and just you think of something. Basically, I'm saying something, but it's actually a lie, which in ballroom is a lot of things.
Most of the time, actually.
Which is why there's so many of those. So yeah, that's basically the reason. It's like a way to like remind ourselves of like the little things that we've kind of lacked. Those in-between moments that aren't like super defined. It's not like a performance or a clip or anything. It's just those, oh yeah, I remember that. Just like that feeling of nostalgia and like to hold us over until we can go again. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you. No, and I think maybe this is also kind of what Yamuna is talking about. You're sort of like continuing to build community and create a culture through memes. And I think this is also a way that ballroom stays connected. Is through sharing memes. It's through also, when people are like commenting on it, and then you also remember when they left their house, and then it's like even deeper.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to say about some memes.
The memes are epic. They're just epic.
Yeah.
Like every time when I see those memes coming up, I'm like, damn. Like, it's funny, but then it's also like, but actually it's true.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I think one of my favorite things that has come out of like the lockdown is this page called Ballroom Reacts. And I think this is a really special page because it really captures the audience of ballroom, and it really shows like how important the audience is.
Yeah.
And so it's like a lot of times when you see ballroom clips, it's really focused on the dancers, right? This is what people are the most impressed about. But like the audience is really what makes it something, and this is also a way that I think people within the ballroom scene can continue to connect with each other.
Yep.
So I'll show you one of my favorite clips that I think also really captures. You can see so much about ballroom culture in this one clip, and I think this is a way that we also kind of are connecting with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I will play it now, if that's okay. Yes. Okay. I think it should work. Why is it working? Okay, well, maybe we won't be able to play it. Oh, wow, what a pity. Okay, it's not working.
Oh, shit.
That's okay.
But it was JV? Or?
No, it was the one.
Genovia.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, we will share it on our BARTALK Instagram or something like this so other people can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But basically, at least I can explain like what Ballroom Reacts does. It basically is like zooming in on people's faces. So you see a lot of people like praying. You see people screaming. You see them stomping. Yeah, and this is also just a way for people to continue to connect.
Yeah, like the facial expressions, especially.
Yeah, I think the facial expressions are really key.
And the thing is, like, especially now with Ballroom Reacts, people will really notice their face during balls, because for me, when I'm at a ball, I will act like a fool.
Yeah.
But with the idea that they will not capture my face.
Yeah.
Which happened. So Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's also a key part of ballroom. You're also really screaming. You're really putting a lot of this energy on the floor. So it's really nice to also be able to like see that and see that celebrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then if we look at ballroom and the future, I hope this plays, but maybe it won't. That's okay. So recently, Amber Vineyard threw this really awesome ball. We Are the Night ball.
Yeah.
And you kind of see the merging of two things. So there was a ball that was live streamed. There wasn't really an audience, so that element is missing. But why did it stop? Okay. Okay, wait. Some technical difficulties, as always.
It's okay.
Sorry? Oh, yes. Okay. So Amber threw a ball.
Online/real ball.
Yeah. And most people were watching it from home and also commenting on it. So you also have this audience participation.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was actually really nice because she also had like a screen in the back, and you saw people in the live really rooting for other people. So that was really cute.
Yeah. Yeah, and what was cool was that you have the clips that were being made, and then again, our local meme lord is then creating material from this. And I think this was already happening with ballroom clips. Like sometimes memes were happening, but I think that in the future it will happen to like a larger degree because this has also become more and more a part of the culture.
Yes.
So yeah. So then this is again what was created through Seven about this ball, and again, just I think relatable memes.
Yeah.
If it plays. But now it also won't play. I don't know why. Well, maybe I know.
Like the moment you wanted to play,
I know it
play,
won't.
and
Yeah.
the moment you was like, okay, you know what? Never mind, it played. It's gonna work.
Will it play? Probably not. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Another meme that we will post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So that's how it is. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so anyway, this is perhaps the future of ballroom. Hopefully more memes.
Most definitely more memes. Like, like it brings the fun part back in ballroom. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a little bit of what's been happening in the ballroom scene since the lockdown, and thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
Joining you guys again.
Yeah.
That was fun. Thanks for giving us a little tour, a little summary of what's been happening in the pandemic. While we're waiting for audience questions, what have been some of your favorite specific moments about Ballroom Online?
Well, for me, it was actually really the call-outs for me. Because it started actually with no intention to become something big, you know? And eventually it did. And people were really asking me like, yo, when are you going to do the next call-out? And I was like, I don't know. Because the reason why I actually stopped doing it was because of my neighbors. Because I was doing it in my living room, and eventually I heard people stomp me down like you know, I was like, okay, oops. Maybe I need
More
to do
levels, but like in the house. Yeah, I can imagine.
So yeah, that's most definitely one. And I need to say the ball that you threw, like the one in Warm.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
You know, because that for me was actually the first experience that it was like a real judge panel together, you know. So that was also a very like nice moment for me to see like, okay, shit, like yes, ballroom.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really my favorite moments from Diesel's ball, I really like the sex siren categories because I think those translate really well online, and people do some really interesting like camera work as well, which is very exciting because you don't really have that option, you know, when you're at a ball or something like that. But people, they have their friends with camera also like pouring water all over them, you know, so it's like
it was a whole production.
Yeah, it's a whole production, and I find that really exciting because people are also just using all of the props that they have around them to make interesting content.
I will say one of my favorite moments was a sex siren where someone was on their bed and poured milk on their ass.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
That was Liam. That was Shake That Ass.
Yes, it was Liam. That was
Shake That Ass.
Oh, it was Shake That Ass, actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
She was twerking, and then she like poured milk on her
That-
ass while she was
everyone went wild online.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, that was a moment. It was almond milk, yes.
Just a little plug for almond milk.
Yeah.
Okay, so our questions are in. Lil Houston Mariana asks, how do you find the flirt game with the judges and audience when doing a category online?
Oh,
Can
that's
you
a good
explain?
question.
That's a very good question. It's hard. It's really hard. Like, because especially for categories like sex siren.
Yeah.
You know, like most of the time in real life when you walk sex siren, you directly have contact with the judge. And during some balls, you could not even see the judges. You know, so I don't know how to really speak onto that.
I don't think that you have that relationship.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting is people are performing to the camera.
Yeah.
So that there is at least some sort of connection, but
Yeah.
I don't think that there is the same kind of connection to the judges.
No, it's not really. It's
Which
more
is a
like,
pity.
you know, like you're beaming out like a seductive energy or something, and it's like if you buy it, you buy it. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
It's a different sell. Oh, someone got a question.
Comment.
I would argue that for some people that might actually be easier because there's no eyes on them. So it's like much in the same way that people send hateful stuff on social media.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if everybody heard that with the microphones, but Seven was basically saying that like because you also don't have the direct eyes on you, then maybe it's easier for certain performers to perform. So you just have the camera to perform to, which is true because I think that also prevents a lot of people in ballroom from like reaching their full potential because you got to make the eye contact with the judges.
True that.
It's the most horrible part.
It's the scariest
Yeah,
part.
it's
I have to
terrible.
say.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Seven.
All right. Our second question comes from Danny. I myself am relatively new to ballroom. I've only walked 3 kikis, still got all of my 3 trophies. Okay, Danny. Any advice from a prominent veteran in ballroom to a ballroom baby?
Learn your place, earn your spot. No, but it's really like you need to believe yourself first if you want to become there in ballroom. You know, so just really work on your craft. Like really dive into the history of ballroom and your category that you want to walk. You know, because for me, especially for me also, because that's also the journey that I made. I didn't know of ballroom, and eventually because I went into it and I learned about the history, that's how I got myself up there.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, for commentators, it's slightly different, or
Well,
not.
I didn't start it as commentator.
Okay.
Like
Right,
commentating is the thing that I'm doing most of the time. But I actually started as a folk femme and sex siren. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for that tip. Oh, and also, Seven also has a series of memes, which is voguing for dummies.
Oh,
so maybe that's your
Those were
intro
some
there
that I
that you can
didn't
check it
add,
out. Yeah, I think that's a good one.
Yeah, that's actually a good one.
Yeah, it's a good summary. All right, very last question of the evening. Tracy G asks, I and others. Oh, I'm so sorry. There are 2 questions. So Surges asks, will online ballroom continue alongside live events once everything opens up? Live in-person events are not usually accessible.
I don't think so. Like there probably will be a small group that will still keep doing online balls, but I think most people would really want the real thing to happen.
I agree, but I also think that one, like the accessibility question is like something that should be discussed in the ballroom scene. But I also think that like with Amber's ball, I think she had 3,000 people watching.
Yep.
And venues know that those are good numbers. So I also have a feeling that there will be live balls that will also be live streamed. Like
like a live stream, but I
what
thought
was the
more...
one in Berlin?
The Kiki in like.
No, David's ball.
Oh yeah. The superhero ball.
Yeah, there was a ball. So now what's happening too is like balls are just being live streamed. So that's a way for people at home to watch.
Yeah, and that way, like if you say it in that way, then of course. But I thought more about like in the way of participating during balls and everything. Yeah.
Yamuna had a point.
Yeah. So much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good Wi-Fi and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is a panel discussion now.
Yeah, so I also think that there are going to be some holdovers from the quarantine period. I don't know, am I hearable?
Just talk into the
Just come.
So I think there are going to be a few holdovers from the quarantine period. Namely, a lot of people have been doing video production just by themselves, like outside of the context of any ball. But like the Barcelona thing has also been incorporated. And I think this medium, being like an audiovisual pre-recorded medium, is definitely gonna maybe not at every ball, but it's definitely gonna become a thing because people are so into it now that it's definitely gonna be at some point like factor into to ballroom at large. That's what I think.
Yeah, for me, like especially the one from Barcelona, like I love the creativity behind it, you know, but it was a lot of stress getting everything together because, for example, the host was really chasing people to send their videos on time and everything, you know, so it's a lot of work for just
a little bit.
Yeah, for just a little bit. So that's why I think like, because she also told me like, you know what, like, yeah.
Yeah. And very quickly, just to repeat what Yamuna said, Yamuna pointed out that before the pandemic, people were also usually doing like a live stream through their Instagram or through Facebook Live to make balls accessible to people who are at home. But because of the pandemic, or not because of the pandemic, but now the quality is a lot higher. So that has also been something that's shifted. Yeah.
Thank you all for weighing in. This does conclude our evening. We don't really have time to get to your question. I'm so sorry, Tracy, but thank you so much for asking. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in today. We want to thank, once again, Creative Coding Utrecht for hosting us and her visions as well at Rainbow's End. Do check out the rest of the program. Thank you to all of our guests, Yamuna, Typhoon, Rae, Danielle, and Jamal. And to Seven once again for bringing the vibes. Thank you guys so much.
And BARTALK will be having another edition in the end of May, all about hype. So we're thinking food, hype, cancel culture.
Exactly. So check us out on Instagram at bartalk.dh. See you next time.
Word.